Okay, function testing now. What we're going to do is we're just going to walk the machine through its features, testing things like the perch, activation, sliding lid movement, coin dispensing, coin detecting in each of the 4 phases of training. So when we fire this up for the first time, it's going to be in phase 1. And phase 1 basically just makes this a bird feeder. The machine's going to come on, it's going to do some self-checking stuff, and then it's going to end up like I have it now, where the sliding lid is open, which means that the reward basket is available all times. So that means that any crow or other corvid that comes to visit will be able to take peanut or cat food or whatever we've used for a reward. And the purpose of that phase is to just get the corvids used to landing on the Crowbox and taking food from it, and starting to understand it as a place where the corvids can be rewarded. So I'll talk through this phase. What's going to happen is I'm going to apply power here, and the machine's going to open halfway, then all the way, and then close slowly, and then open all the way and stay how it is now. And in phase 1, the system does not pay attention to the perch sensors or the coin sensors. It's just open at all times and there's free food. So I'm going to attach my power here. I'm going to attach my power bank. You attach either your power bank or your AC adapter. Have inside. So that's a successful cycle of phase 1 behavior. The machine tested itself, and then it opened the lid and left the reward basket available. It's worth noting that the machine doesn't need power at this point to do its job in phase 1. Once it's open, you could disconnect it from power and put it outside just like this, because this is how it will be the whole time. It'll just be open, free food. And phase 1 can also be the longest phase of training for most, because you need the crows and other corvids to come and discover the box, and that could take a little while. And there's a bunch of tips on the Crowbox website for where to put your box and how to get the area ready that can help get that time down. But the point I'm trying to make here is that when we're in phase 1 of training, it really isn't necessary to be on power, because the box isn't opening or closing or detecting birds or anything. So that can make things a lot easier on you when you get started, especially if you still need parts for power, or you just don't want to fiddle with charging a battery if you're on battery. So the next thing to talk about is how to change the training phase. And the way to do that, I'm going to move this light back a little bit because I want you to actually see a blinking light on the Arduino, so you understand which phase of training you're in. Now, depending on if you're using a battery like I am, depending on how long you cut your power lead, pulling the electronic sled out could actually pull this rocker up from the bottom when the wire contacts it. So just be ready for that, just in case it happens. But if you just pull your electronic sled up like this, there's an LED right here where I'm pointing with my screwdriver that's going to blink a number of times. So I'm going to push this button here, this little black button that we installed in our breadboard. That is our training phase select button. So when I press that, I'm going to expect 2 blinks from that light, because I'm currently in phase 1, and pressing this button will advance to the next phase. And also, under this shiny silver box here, there is a button on the Arduino. That's the reset button for the Arduino. So I recommend that you always push the Arduino's reset button after you change the training phase, just so the machine can reset and get ready. And I'm going to do that in a moment, but before I do, I want to discuss what's going to happen in phase 2. So in phase 1, birds have been coming in just enjoying free food the whole time. What phase 2 does is close the lid and keep it closed on top of the food, so the food is unavailable. But the first bird that comes along and steps on the perch and triggers these switches is going to open the reward basket for 15 seconds, and then they can get as much food as they want in that time, and then the basket's going to slowly close in a series of small steps. So the thinking behind that phase of training is that you switch to that after about a week's time, after all the crows or other corvids that come to visit your Crowbox have become comfortable with the free food situation. We want to get them used to the idea that the box can deny access to food, but more importantly, that this box is going to make noise and vibrate sometimes, and that's another thing they need to get used to. So once you've had corvids coming and eating comfortably for about a week, you switch to phase 2, which we're going to do now. And what we're going to see when I reset my Arduino is the same machine startup situation where it pulls the lid halfway open, all the way open, and then slowly steps it closed. But this time it's going to stay closed. And then once everything comes to rest with the lid closed, we'll test the machine by pressing on our rocker arms here. And when we press a rocker down, we should be seeing that lid rip open, providing access to food here, and a 15-second period of access, and then the lid will close again, and then we can test the other rocker. So I'm not going to speed this up, even though it takes a little while to do, because I want you to be able to play along fairly accurately with your test as well. So I want you to see our machines doing the same thing, ideally. So what I'll do now is make that change. So I'm going to pull my electronic sled up far enough that I can touch this button and the reset button on the Arduino. And again, I'm doing this kind of in the dark on purpose because I want the blinking of this LED that I'm pointing at here to be fairly obvious. So we're looking for 2 blinks. There we go, we got it. So I'm going to reset the Arduino and put the electronic sled back in its home. You can watch what happens here. Great. So you can see my lid is closed now. No access to the food, but they can see it clearly through the clear lid and the clear, on your machine, the clear basket here. It's also worth noting that, as I discussed earlier, you can see my rotor push pin is off here a ways, not straight in line with the this axis of the machine. And just remember how I said that's okay. If you look at the front of the machine here, I've got several millimeters of lid hanging over the edge of the basket, so it's fully protected from weather, and it can't be lifted by anybody, any sneaky birds. So it's just one of the things we've designed around, is the fact that sometimes this servo positioning isn't absolutely precise. So now for a bit of fun, I'll test my rocker arm here. Perfect. So if a bird had landed in such a way that it depressed this rocker arm, then it would have this next 15 seconds to help itself to rewards from the reward basket. Okay, now all locked up again. Now I'll test the other rocker here. Great. So again, 15 seconds of access to food, and then the lid will close in a series of steps, and the idea there is that if someone's visiting the box and still trying to select some food, they'll get bumped by this lid as it closes gradually versus being struck by a lid that's just slamming shut. So that's something that we have as a safety feature to scare off birds versus actually closing them up in the lid. And I'll show one more thing here, which is how back here now there's plenty of room for my hand. And if you come up and look at a Crowbox at this point, it looks like it's okay to reach in there, but I'm telling you with all these warning signs that it is not, because that area will quickly be hit by the by the sliding lid as the machine opens. So please put your warning labels on. Now we'll talk about training phase 3, which is the workhorse for the machine. It's a lot like training phase 2 in the sense that the lid will be closed and the food will be denied. But the thing about phase 3 is that pressing a rocker arm down will not open the lid. Once we make our transition into phase 3, we've already been through phase 1 where the birds just find the box and enjoy the food. And then phase 2, where the corvids can come and still get free food. They just have to cope with the fact that the machine moves and vibrates, and they'll get used to that. We've found fairly quickly. I mean, sometimes some Stellars, jays, they don't even seem to care. Like the same day, they'll go right back to activating the machine and eating the food. Some crows are a little bit more wary, but they don't forget that that there's food here, so they also stick it out. It just might take them a little bit longer to get used to it. Before you start your phase 3 testing, you'll want to install your little coin box here, your coin drawer. And so where that goes is under your basket here. Just take your coin drawer, slip it in there. And that way the coins that we're about to toss into the machine as we test this phase will show up down there in the coin drawer. And then once you're done with that testing, you can just reach under the basket here and just gently pull that coin drawer right out and collect the coins that have been deposited. And that's how you'll do it in the field also. You can just come in there and easily check whether you have any coins that have been deposited without having to open the side of the machine any longer. Now, phase 3, as I said, doesn't respond to the action of the rocker arms here. Phase 3 works only on deposited coins. So that means that we're going to be connecting, or we're going to be adding our coin magazine, and we've never really talked about where this goes, and it clips to the front of the machine right here. There's some little hooks on it, and there's some little slots there that accept that, and it's going to stay right here. So I'm going to get ready by loading some coins into my coin magazine here. I've got a couple ready to go, and set that off to the side here because things are going to happen pretty fast here when I set training phase 3, and I don't want you to miss the coin being dispensed. So I'm not going to install my coin magazine just yet. So I am going to pull my electronic sled up here and push that training phase button and look for 3 blinks from the status light, which I have. I know this is off camera, but I want you to see the machine. And I'm going to reset the Arduino and put the sled back in its little house. So again, the startup procedure is pretty familiar here. You know, it rips open the lid, closes it, and then it leaves it closed, just like this. So now touching rockers doesn't do anything because we're saying to the birds it's no longer enough to just show up and get free food. What we need is a coin to be deposited. So I'm going to slide this coin off into one of the coin chutes and let it open the machine. But I'm going to install my coin magazine first so that we can see how training coins get dispensed. And this is kind of where they end up. So that's why I'm starting with one here. But I'm going to pretend to be a bird with my screwdriver here. I'm just going to knock it right into the coin chute. And there we go. So now access to the food is provided. So they can get in here and get food again for 15 seconds. And then as the lid closes itself, it's going to dispense a coin from our coin magazine so that there'll be a coin there for the next guy. Just like that. So in the field, one thing you could do is when you set your phase 3 and you reload your coin magazine, because you will need to come out and replace these training coins after a while. The birds will get pretty crazy about coming and knocking them in once they finally discover that this is how the machine works. You'll need to replace coins every so often, and so what I do in that case, when I go out into the field, I just load up my coin magazine and just put it on, because your box will be in the state that it's in now, closed, and then I just take one spare coin and I just start out like that with one that I place manually. So you may be wondering, well, how the heck do they even know to put a coin into the coin slot? And what we've discovered by putting the rewards down here under a clear lid with a coin in the middle is that it triggers what we believe is a digging instinct. So when there's an object in the way of the food, in this case the quarter, then crows and other corvids will try to knock it aside. And so as they throw it off to the side here, at some point it will go down into one of these two coin slots and trigger the machine. And then once that happens, there'll be more curiosity about the coins and the coin slots, and you'll start to see things like birds picking them up and just deliberately putting them in there. So I'm just going to run another test cycle here. And again, everything opened as I expect, and there's food access for 15 seconds. And then the machine cycles and protects the food again and provides another quarter for the next customer. So that's pretty much it for the training phases. There is a fourth training phase. So if you were to press, to lift your electronics sled out and press the training button and advance to phase 4, you will get 4 blinks from the LED, but the Crowbox is going to behave exactly the same as it does right now. The thing that is unique about phase 4 is that you do not provide a coin magazine any longer. So there are no training coins. When the machine opens and closes, it's not going to dispense a coin for the next guy. And at that point, we're saying to the birds, to the corvids, I should say, we're saying to them, you've learned how this machine works. You know that you can exchange these coins for food. Now we need you to find your own coins. So something that I like to do in phase 4 at my site is to I'll scatter some coins on the ground here and there, just to provide that resource in another way, where the machine's not directly giving coins out, but coins are available. And I think that's the final link there in getting the crows and other corvids to understand that any coin they find anywhere is good here at this machine for a shot at not free food, but good for a shot at our food. So if you've tested that and everything works the way you want, then your box is ready for final assembly and actually to be put out. Before you do that, I like to take my coins and then just do a lot of testing by knocking them off into slots on both sides at different points along the slot, towards the front, towards the back, midway, whatever. And just make sure everything's triggering the way we like with the coin sensor, and then we'll know that our machine's ready to go. If you saw something during your tests that you didn't like or that didn't work out the way they did for me here with this machine, then you might want to head to the Google group and look for some advice. You can tell us there what your problem is. Someone in the community or one of the developers will be able to help you get through troubleshooting and getting your machine running the way that we want it to.